Hello everyone, my name is Mike Hackett and I am a Senior Faculty Lecturer and Programme Leader for the Advanced Diploma in Clinical Supervision with PCI College. I'm delighted to have an opportunity on Facebook this evening to talk to you all a little bit about our Advanced Diploma in Clinical Supervision. PCI College has been in operation since 1991, providing a whole range of training and development opportunities and continuous professional development opportunities in the area of counselling and psychotherapy. So our Advanced Diploma in Clinical Supervision is really kind of a postgraduate or medium to late career activity. And yeah, I'd like to just have an opportunity to talk to you all about it this evening. So the Advanced Diploma in Clinical Supervision is validated by Middlesex University in London, and it meets the accrediting requirements of the Irish Association for Counselling and Psychotherapy. Previously, the course used to be a little more orientated toward supervising in a counselling and psychotherapy context. But these days, the requirements for supervision, the demand for supervision, and really the way that we provide supervision and the needs of supervision in and across the healthcare professions has really just increased and exploded over the last while. Those on the front line during the current COVID-19 pandemic need a lot of support. These are people who put themselves in harm's way. And so supervision provides an opportunity, a restorative opportunity, to help facilitate professionals to avoid burnout, to look after their professional needs, to offer them some support in often very, very difficult circumstances and at difficult times like these. So our Advanced Diploma in Clinical Supervision program is really designed to train clinical supervisors. So these are supervisors, and generally supervisors are considered gatekeepers of the profession, specifically in counselling and psychotherapy. But the need for supervision across professions has increased over the last while. So for example, in nursing management, in midwifery, in pastoral care, in health and social care, social services, addiction services, even in psychology, clinical or otherwise, and a whole range of others, including counselling and psychotherapy, as I said earlier. So our clinical supervision program, in terms of its structure, is a one-year program, and it's targeted at professionals in the field who want to go from professional practitioner status to supervisor of professional practitioners. So we break the course into 8 months, which is a typical academic year, and it blends 3 components of development. It blends a theoretical component, the underpinnings of how to supervise well. It blends a practical component for skills development, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the clinical requirements for the program a little later. And the third element is it provides with a personal development element. Who is the person of the supervisor? What do they bring to their work? How do they help the person of the professional that they are supervising? And how that translates into, for example, the therapy room or any other context in which the supervisor or the supervisee is working. So it's a fascinating and demanding and very rich career to be a supervisor. And in fact, increasingly, supervisors are being asked to supervise cross professions. So, for example, I myself, as a clinical supervisor, have the rare opportunity and indeed the privilege of working with nurses and midwives and a range of other disciplines outside of my core speciality of counselling and psychotherapy as a practitioner. So supervision, good clinical supervision allows us to do that well. So the course, like I said, brings a focus on 3 of those core components: the theories part, the skills part, and the personal development part and professional development part of the clinician themselves. So in terms of theories and skills, we look at a process model for supervision by a couple called Hawkins and Shoei, and they've developed something called the 7-eyed model of supervision. The model has been around a while and it works exceptionally well for facilitating and supporting supervisees in their work. Supervision provides three core functions, really. It provides an educative function. We're trying as supervisors, because perhaps we're a little further on in our career than those that we supervise, we're trying to help augment their skills, their understanding of particular dynamics that happen in relationships therapeutically or in whatever social care profession that we're interested in. Also, then we look at the managerial function. In the domain of counseling and psychotherapy, we're considered as supervisors the gatekeepers of the profession. So it's up to us, being in quite a responsible role, to look at entrance to the profession and how we make sure that we maintain the standards required for working with vulnerable people. So that would include things like reports for different accrediting bodies, for example, trying to make sure that ethics and professional practice are at the core of what we do in our work. And also, really, I guess, trying to provide that collaboration with the supervisee, but also bearing in mind that there is a power imbalance between supervisor and supervisee because of that gatekeeper of the professional responsibility that's placed upon us. And I guess the third component then is supportive. Like I said in the introduction, the demands of practitioners across the health and social care are only really increasing. And so the restorative and supportive function of supervision is to attend to the needs of the individual, of the human being who is also a professional. So what we aim to do in our program is, in 3 modules and a top and a tail weekend orientation and integration, we equip clinical supervisors with the necessary skills, insights and experience, even after about a year or an academic year of work, to be able to work well with all kinds of levels and all kinds of social care and healthcare professions. So that was the first module, which is the theories and skills module. The second module is ethics and professional practice. So in that module, what we do is we really look at how to navigate and means and methods of working with the thorny topic of ethical dilemmas, whether they're ethical dilemmas that arise from dual relationships, or dilemmas that arise with child protection issues, or anything else that may involve neglect or harm, suicidal ideation, for example. So we really want to try and help understand the principles that underpin ethics, rather than come up with some exhaustive list of rules or regulations. Though those are important, the principles guide us much, much better because of the infinite variety and complexity of ethical dilemmas that can arise during our work. Professional practice then includes looking at the law, how we work within the law. Confidentiality, for example, is not absolute in our profession, even though it is highly prized. So how do we make sure that we are looking after the interests of clients, yet balancing the requirements of both the profession and the law of the land? So we look at that in our second module. And then in the third module, we know that supervision happens in a variety of different contexts. So for example, the more traditional version of supervision is perhaps one-to-one clinical supervision, where the supervisee and supervisor work for a typical 50-minute therapeutic hour and work on the agenda as set by the supervisee. However, increasingly, for financial and practical and environmental and a whole load of other reasons, group supervision has become more and more of a demand and a greater requirement for us in the field. So in the third module, we actually look at group supervision, and we spend an entire module providing the tools and skills and insights, and in fact the experiences of being a group supervisor, with the view to being able to help supervisors work not only in a one-to-one context, but also in a group context where their practice requires it. So there are 3 important facets of the work of clinical supervision provided by the program. And as I said, we top and tail those 3 core modules with the first introductory weekend called the orientation weekend. And in the orientation weekend, we really try and give you a demonstration of what it is to, or what a contemporary evidence-based supervision session looks like, how we're supporting supervisees to get the best from supervision, how we're trying to educate supervisees in what good supervision looks like, and in fact how they need to be prepared for supervision sessions to maximize the benefit for them and their clients. We also, because this is a university validated program by Middlesex University in London, the program does have academic standards. And within the program itself, there are 2 essays in the academic tradition that need to be produced, as well as a clinical package, which again I'll speak a little bit more about in a moment. So in the orientation weekend, for those professionals who perhaps haven't written for a while or haven't been in formal education for a while, we really look forward to helping bring them up to speed with academic writing and equipping them with the now fairly extensive tools and resources that we have available on the PCI College portal. It's a wonderful academic writing knowledge base, access to the SAGE database of a whole host of health and social care resources, as well as research databases that are profoundly useful in terms of anchoring their work in contemporary and up-to-date literature. So we provide a really comprehensive orientation in the first week of the program. As we journey through the 3 key modules, theories and skills, ethics and professional practice, and group supervision, we arrive at the integration weekend, bringing everything together. So in that we look at philosophies of supervision, such that we can bring and help the nascent supervisors to develop a robust sense of their own philosophy of supervision. Who am I as a supervisor? What is it that I provide? And then we also provide them with opportunities to develop branding and marketing to set up their own clinical supervision practice, to market that practice, to bring it into alignment and make sure that it is both ethically and professionally sound, and really provide a springboard to accreditation with whatever body or representative organization that health or social care practitioner is already a member of. So we also provide some very practical tools and resources during the integration weekend, not just to knit together all of the individual components of the program, but to really shape a nascent or a beginning supervisory practice for attendees on the program. One of the things that we value very much at PCI is small and experiential class sizes. So when we have class cohorts, we want to make sure that we're giving and managing and blending the robust academic education, but also a highly experiential experience, and enough room to process and think about and integrate all of the skills and experiences that are coming together in such a program. So we keep our class sizes pretty small in order to facilitate that really well. So the intensity of the program and the learning is amplified and maximized for participants on the course. The other thing I would say is we are looking this year to potentially offering the course in more than one location. So we have several venues around the country, and if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about the venues, the cost of the program, the dates of the program, I'd signpost you to pcicollege.ie, our website, and we have fairly comprehensive details as to the syllabus, the modules, the cost, the dates, and a number of other really useful pieces of information that will guide you in decision making if you yourself hope to train as a clinical supervisor. So what else can I say about the program? I myself am a graduate of the program. I undertook the PCI College Advanced Diploma in Supervision some years ago, and I've been in clinical supervision practice since then. So one of my passions is helping those who are interested in undertaking this very challenging but very rewarding work, trying to get the best education that they can possibly get. And that includes my own passion coming across very much for this work. I think as professionals, we work really, really hard. And as supervisors, we get to actively support, restore, and resource those professionals who don't often get as much care and support as perhaps they deserve. So that's one of the aspects that I love about not just lecturing and having the privilege of program leading our advanced diploma in clinical supervision, but also actively working with you, the potential student, to maximize your learning and your professional development as you move toward this stage of your career. So I think that's pretty much most of what I would like to cover. I hope that's been a useful introduction to our Advanced Diploma in Clinical Supervision. We're delighted that we have just finished revalidating the program with Middlesex University, and it's a brand new spit and polish version of the course ready to run this new academic year. I guess it's worth pointing out that with all of the COVID-19 and pandemic new normal that we're all experiencing, it's probably worth mentioning that we may or may not be available to sit in a classroom together to begin the program, and that may require us having some online or at least to a lesser or greater extent online provision of the course. But we've actually managed to deliver the existing program online since the pandemic took over and shut everything down. Our students this year have reported, though they were really concerned initially about moving to their education online, have reported a really wonderful and in some ways more intense learning experience. So for those of you worried about whether it would be class or online and whether online is similar or the same, certainly the feedback from this most recent cohort of students on the Advanced Diploma in Supervision have found that very much to be the case. The learning has been robust. They have really enjoyed the contact even in the new medium, and in fact they have reported that it helps them prepare for the online world of supervising and also being practitioners in their own right. For those who are therapists, they're learning to all the nuances of providing therapy online. And for those other professionals, they're grappling and learning by being a student of those particular methods of delivery. So it's been a really interesting, positive, as well as a challenge for everybody in these circumstances. But we at PCI are absolutely committed to giving you the best quality education possible. And we do that on the Advanced Diploma in Clinical Supervision. So once again, I've been Mike Hackett from PCI College. I hope that has been of some use in terms of giving you flavour of our Advanced Diploma in Clinical Supervision. Like always, we absolutely love hearing from you, so please post a comment or send an email or visit the PCI College website for more information on our Advanced Diploma in Clinical Supervision. So for the moment, I wish you well. I thank you for taking part this evening and look forward to hearing from you all as we go through the next few months. Stay safe, take good care of yourself and those around you, and look forward to talking to you again. Take care. Bye-bye.